So I wanted to post this follow-up video to the bank-owned hoarder house video that I posted a few days ago. And I received a lot of questions, some curiosity questions, a few concerns, things that I didn't necessarily explain thoroughly in making that video. It was the first video that I've made of that type, and certainly it's a learning process, as is anything else. And there are definitely some things that I should have explained a little bit further, before I was going into the house, after I went to the house, and so forth. And certainly some things that maybe didn't come across appropriately. So the first thing is the purpose of that video. And I don't know if I explained this thoroughly enough, but I sell a lot of bank-owned properties. And when I sell a bank-owned property, I get the assignment from the bank right after the foreclosure. The auction happens, the bank takes the property back as a foreclosure property, they own the property, then they contact me to inspect the property. I'm their boots on the ground, so to speak, to tell them, relay back to them what the story with the property is. Is it occupied? Is it vacant? What's the condition? Does it need to be cleaned out? Does it need the lawn to be mowed, so on and so forth. So whenever I get a new assignment, the first thing I do is inspect the property to find out what is it that we're dealing with. And this, when I posted that video, when I recorded that video, that was what I was doing. It was an initial walkthrough, kind of an initial inspection. We knew it would need some work. We knew it would need a clean out. Didn't realize quite the extent of the clean out that it would need. And I think that's where a lot of the reaction came from. I knew there would be some, things that need to be done, and was hoping the video would come across as more of an educational video than a shocking video. But my intention was to kind of give people an idea, give an inside look at, what we do as real estate agents, what I do on a regular basis. It's not all granite and stainless steel and beautiful oceanfront properties and picture perfect landscaping and so forth. It is sometimes that, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's heartbreaking, sometimes it's down and dirty, sometimes it's dangerous, and it's a lot of work. And I wanted to kind of pull back the curtain, kind of go a little bit more real life than even like your HD GTV, whatever, House Hunters or whatever, to kind of give people an idea of what I do, for a living. So that being said, the other thing is, I don't think, in my walkthrough of that property, being that I do a lot of bank-owned properties, I do this for a living, and I see this type of thing all the time. And, those that have worked with me, those that know me, know that I am not an insensitive person, very aware of people's situations, very sensitive and sympathetic to people's situations. But with these bank-owned properties, I never talk to the homeowners, this particular seller or sellers. I will never have any kind of communication with them. I don't know their scenario. I don't know who they are. So it really is, it's a property that I have to clean out. I have to clean it out. I have to get it ready for resale. And it's not, because there's no interaction with the sellers, I'm not working with the sellers directly. It's definitely more impersonal. That being said, for certain, in my core, it's a sad situation. Whenever someone has a hard time, falls on hard times, for certain, it's not a happy situation. It's not that I'm not sympathetic to these folks that have, fallen on hard times. But the fact of the matter is regardless of how sympathetic I am, it still needs to be dealt with. It still needs to be cleaned out. So I know the shock value is, I was a little bit taken back for certain myself on the condition of the property. Got a little carried away with my comments maybe, and again, a little bit taken back. So just wanted to clarify that. And then the other question I'm getting is, what happens now? So typically with these bank-owned properties, once I do my initial walkthrough, and in that case, after I filmed the video, I took pictures of every room that I could get to, contacted my contact at the bank, refiled my report on what needed to be what the house needs, the current condition. And what'll happen is the bank will hire a management company, a property preservation company, clean out company, to come in and clean everything out. They clean everything stem to stern, gets pulled out, and then I go back in and reassess. In this particular case, we'll have a mold company come in and inspect. We'll have a termite or a pest inspection company treat for the spiders, things of that nature. Sometimes the bank will make repairs. Sometimes they sell it as is, and that I don't know until it actually happens. One of the questions I asked, was asked on this is, what's the price, and when's it coming on the market? I don't have that information, and the banks don't tell me. I will file my report once it's cleaned out, give them an assessment of what the price should be, but ultimately, until they actually send me the permission or the authorization to list the property and the price that they want to list it at, it's only then that I know what they're going to sell it for and what we're going to be putting it on the market. And that time frame honestly could be a month, it could be 4 or 5 months. It's an unknown on my part on when that's going to happen. Believe me when I tell you that I've been doing this I've been doing real estate for over 22 years, doing the bank loan properties for the last 2 or 3 years primarily, and dabbled in it before that, but really have ramped up on the bank loan business over the last few years. And one of the follow videos on this is going to be the after photos for certain, whether the bank fixes it up or an investor buys it, and or a buyer does it, a 203K rehab program and fixes it up, and you will not recognize this house. For certain, it won't be the same house. The house the location I will not disclose until the house goes on the market. But believe me when I tell you that the house, the after pictures, it's going to be hard to believe that it is the same house. The house has tremendous potential, for certain. And, and it will get back there someday. A lot of people said, well, just tear it down. I've seen houses far worse that have been renovated and come back. And the surface trash is just exactly that. Granted, there are some roof issues, some leaking issues, water issues. That can all be fixed. So I hope this video kind of clarifies things. Like I said, I kind of wanted to touch on those important points, kind of, and maybe answer some questions. If there's any other thoughts, questions, concerns, please let me know. My intention is to continue with this, in sharing these, the kind of an inside look in, the everyday, adventures, if you will, of what I go through as a real estate agent, and kind of an inside scoop, especially with these bank loan properties. It's interesting to see transformation and the befores and afters and so forth. So have a great day, and talk to you soon.